Lewis Hamilton. Now, you better get used to hearing his name being mentioned in this fashion, because is there any doubt that Lewis Hamilton is going to win his 7th world title this year? I don't think there is. Now, look, I will offer 3 reasons why he doesn't make world champion this year. And there are just 3, as far as I am concerned. Number 1, he literally drops dead. Now, the chances of that happening are about 1 in a gazillion. He's fit, he's healthy, he's taking good care of himself. He has all the right people around him to take care of him. Almost impossible. Okay, almost. Reason number 2, if he catches COVID. Now, we've already seen this happen in the driver lineup. Sergio Perez contracted COVID by traveling back to Mexico to see his mom after she had an operation. Now, there is a very small chance that in all the celebrations across teams, and remember that they're supposed to be staying in their own bubbles, but I've noticed that when the race is complete, and especially when Lewis is amongst those who are on the podium, and he has been pretty much all year bar one race, that they start to get pally and, backslapping other drivers and, elbow bumping and all this kind of stuff. But that's when they start mixing. If he is able to avoid contracting COVID, then that's another reason why he will almost certainly be world champion. Reason number 3 is if he has a nasty crash. We haven't had or seen any nasty crashes in Formula 1 for a long time. I mean, the very worst one that we had in recent memory was Kubica in Canada. You go back a little further and we're looking at probably Michael Schumacher when he broke his leg. The chances that the Mercedes will fall apart or Lewis makes an uncharacteristic mistake, has a nasty crash, it is possible, to have a very bad accident, particularly at the start of races. But chances that will happen almost next to nil. It hasn't happened for quite a while now. And to my mind, these are the only 3 reasons that Lewis doesn't win his 7th world title. Okay, now, for those of you haters, get over it. This is going to happen, whether you like it or not. I don't hide the fact that I am a fan of Lewis. I'm not saying I'm a fanboy, but I do appreciate what the man has been able to achieve within the sport. And without question, he is going to be the greatest of all time. In my opinion, he already is the greatest of all time. Now, for you Vettel, Schumacher, Verstappen, even Senna fanboys out there, just get over it. Lewis Hamilton, as far as anybody who is unbiased is concerned, and when I say unbiased, I mean in terms of race, in terms of just, a level of respect for his skills and ability, compared to all the other drivers, Lewis already is the greatest out there. Schumacher won his titles by being outright number 1 in whatever team he's ever been in. I mean, there are rumors of Benetton cheating back in the days when he won his 2 world titles. They supposedly had traction control and also the gizmos and software tricks that weren't supposed to be on the car. That's how he won his first 2 titles. Now, don't get me wrong. Schumacher is a brilliant driver. I mean, clearly, if you see, the races he had with Hakkinen against Alonso, in the dominant Ferrari years, clearly he's a very good driver. But the Ferrari was so dominant in those days, and Schumacher clearly had a outright number 1 status, that it puts a real question mark on the man's ability. Okay, let's not forget that he won a few of his titles by bumping his opponents off the road. He'd certainly won at least one by damaging Damon Hill's car, right? So, has Hamilton done anything like that? Absolutely not. So, yes, Schumacher statistically has 7 world titles, but is he the greatest driver, the best driver of all time? I don't think so. Personally, I think Fangio is the best of all time in terms of pure driving ability. Probably Sterling Moss is a close second in that respect. But if we are talking about the greatest of all time in terms of titles, in terms of achievement, clearly it's Lewis Hamilton. End of story. Now, Lewis, if you're watching, look, let me put it this way. I am certainly 100% behind you. Look, I'm gunning for Lewis. Okay. Not least because I can see that hunger in his driving. I can see the man, even after 6 world titles, striving for perfection. Now, yes, of course, he arguably has the best car in Formula One right now. But, it's always been car and driver. That's always been the combination in Formula One. You want the best constructor with the best driver paired together to win the championships. That's just how it is. If you take Verstappen, everybody says, oh, the Mercedes is just the better car and that's why Lewis is winning. Well, Lewis arguably won the 2008 championship not by having the very best car. As I remember correctly, the Ferrari was quite a bit faster than the McLaren at the time. And, when you talk of other drivers on the grid in this championship of, 2020, let's not forget that the Red Bulls have designed a car solely around Max Verstappen, which is just completely crazy. They've so fine-tuned the car to suit Max Verstappen's driving style that the car is undrivable by any other driver. I mean, why would you do that? So I personally think that it puts Verstappen, or it makes him look better than he actually is, because it's pretty clear that everybody who stepped into the second car is struggling with the car. Okay, Pierre Gasly couldn't get on top of the car, and even the very talented Alex Albon isn't able to get on top of the car, and that to me is just complete bonkers. I mean, if you look at every other team, the drivers are fairly close, right? Which suggests that the car is fairly neutral to driving style, and it comes down to the driver setting the car up to suit their driving ability or needs. But the Red Bull, it's so far down the Max Verstappen school of driving technique that it completely disadvantages the second driver. I'm not going to get too much into that, but as far as I'm concerned, yes, Max is as good a driver. You can clearly see that from the ability to maximize what he gets from the Red Bull car. But everybody, including Max, in my opinion, needs to bow in the greatness of the man that is Lewis Hamilton. And if that's too much for you to swallow, well, that's just me saying the truth here. If you agree or disagree, put your comments down below and let's have a conversation about it. In my opinion, this is a done deal. Lewis wins by those 3 reasons that I gave. And when he does eclipse the 91 race wins that Schumacher achieved, in my opinion, he would definitely be the greatest, regardless whether he matches the actual 7 world titles. In my view, it's really about the race wins. But no doubt he will achieve the championship as well, and just cement this argument once and for all. And for those you Lewis haters out there, by the end of this year, you will all have to admit that Lewis Carl Hamilton is the greatest Formula One driver we have ever had. Period. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and let's have a conversation. Thank you.